Hello, hello, hello. Oh, I see. I still have my my gentleman meme here. I forgot I left that on from when I was hitting two vape pens at once the other day. Or no, it was just yesterday actually during my secret stream. Yeah. Welcome, welcome, one and all. Let me fade this music down a little bit. To a fly by the seat of your pants, fresh, fresh new session of Sins Unearthed. We are blessed to be joined by Alfur in the flesh. Because, well, he moved to Texas. It's kind of a, just a rarity that he's here. And, if I did it right, he has a headset that should be piped in. Let me see. I'm just glad we could have him for this session at least, just because of the fact that he's traveling right now and had to come back to this area for something. So, yeah. We're going to do what we can. The session is starting out with a crazy little mission dreamed up by one Joseph Kiel. So Kain's gonna take the lead, but I'm gonna try to do my best to abbreviate it so we can still get some of the main battle in as well.
Ooh, nice.
Let me move us over to a view of what's going to be going on in Map Tool. And we can get this thing started. I need to adjust some voice settings in Discord so that if I play sound effects, they'll come through just fine without getting cut off. Which basically means everything the mic hears, you guys have to hear, so apologies ahead of time. If there's chair creaks and, me breathing and stuff, those cringy human noises,
Hate those.
Yeah. Anyway, is everybody connected to the map tool server?
I am.
Aye, Captain.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. I should be able to tell that, but it would take opening another window. And as I've stated, we're doing it live. So I appreciate you guys letting me know manually. Alright. So what needs to happen here is me just making sure that the correct window is being looked at by my OBS. There we go. And I also have a second webcam that's looking at Alfur, who's here, just because. Okay. So I can go ahead and start with letting everybody know what's going on and what the stakes are. So more or less, Joey Kiel has elected to do something quite crazy that might in fact get him killed. And that is to get up to high velocity and then proceed to coast through space, engines and sensors off past the incoming two Leopard dropships in order to then turn around and hit one of them from behind in hopes to disable half of the incoming force that is headed for the MCS Kahlo currently. And it is Joey's hope that he can at least, lower and mitigate the huge force that's incoming to them so that they can truly hold out for that 1 hour that they need to. Now, with that being said, I think we are about ready to get started, people. And yeah. So right now I'm on the Void map. the map that we currently need to be looking at is the approach vector. Now, the way it should look to you is relatively empty. You'll see a patch of nebulous space that's blue and red with a tiny little walled off section in the very bottom left corner of it. This blue line represents the hexes that you can start in. You'll see we're doing something that could not possibly be done in a like on a table, and that is this map is fucking huge in terms of number of hexes. In order to get the scales the way, like after I looked up like the sensor ranges of everything, there's a lot of hexes here. Let me see if I can turn on the grid for you. There it is. Now you should be able to see a grid over this map. It's a little hard to make out, but if you look closely, it's there. Point is, there should be a line of hexes that is just inside the blue line that correspond to different hexes you can start in. So what we're going to do is a little game of prediction, a little game of trying to set your angle up and everything. We're going to need to know which of these hexes you want to start in, Kain, which direction you want to point in, but you can use the line tool and map tool in order to draw that line out.
And when I zoom in on my screen, I don't see the grid.
Oh, okay. Line. It might be controlled on a personal level. In that case, just hit Control G.
Okay,
I could have sworn there was a force show grid command. There might be one somewhere, but it's not that one, I guess. Okay. So yeah, you'll see just below the bottom left corner of the map is your aerospace fighter. Let me see if I can, in fact, get that set up from a GM level of things. Because over time, I'll be able to reveal a couple of things for you, just based on what you want to know, and perhaps some appropriate rolls being made. Okay. So, here's my quick little tutorial on how to use the line tool in Map Tool. There, to the right of, first we'll start in the very top left with the toolbar of little circular icons. The second one, called Drawing Tools, is what you would click, followed by the Draw Straight Lines tool that's in the second section of it. It looks kind of like an hourglass.
Oh, no, I want to stop. Nope.
Beautiful.
Shape. That's not what I meant to do. Oh, no, I don't
We got some abstract art. I love it.
How do I make that?
I think there's a way to erase the whole shape. There's the little box that pops up has an eraser is one of the three types you can choose. Oops. Well, you generally know where that area was, so no biggie there.
Yeah.
So yes, step one will in fact be to choose where you want your token to be set down, and then you choose the angle coming off it.
I can't move my token.
How strange. 1 sec. Oops. I will see if there's some reason for that. Oh, it might be because I wasn't able to set you as an owner until you logged in. That's exactly what it is. My bad, friend. There you go. It is yours to fly as you please. Okay, nice.
I think
now
it's about the corner.
Yeah, I would agree with you. So now, what we're going to do is, if you also want to, before you draw your line, if you want to get an idea of, like, your figuring of the vector that the jump ships, can kind of relate to you, that they see the drop ships to be on, you kind of will still be going a little bit by memory. or not memory, but by just, you know, some speculation. But you can the better of a roll that you make at what is it called? Navigation? I think it's called navigation. Gosh, I'm too rusty at this system. The system I'm using.
Navigation as a skill.
Yes, okay. I thought it was navigation. You know how a lot of them are just like rolled into each other. So it's always hard to tell which one actually is like what it's called, you know. But yes, a navigation roll will be made, and then I can give you a visual representation of what their path is with an accuracy based on your roll.
Okay.
It's some on-the-fly estimation of, you know, which way they're going, based on where you are in relation to the jump ship, which I will also show for you.
It's been a hot minute. It's 2d6 plus modifier, right?
Yes, and in fact, if I did not put it, oh my gosh, I still haven't put it over your character commands, have I? I'm a silly lad. So yes, in that case, it would be 2d6 plus modifier from the how many ranks you have in it, and then plus the skill itself, or I'm sorry, the attribute itself.
Yep, I got an 11.
Okay. I will take that result. I will say, because you did have the vector from the jump ship, it was not going to be a hard roll. You literally got the number that I was setting it to be for, you know, actual accuracy. So congratulations, you. Yeah, it was really only like, you know, only a horrible roll really would have made it inaccurate at all. So allow me to draw that out for you real quick, using the very same line tool. See, I have a hidden version of these lines that I can already see. I'm just going to have to try and manually draw over them to look the same. We'll see about that. Oh, and I just realized I didn't have music playing. Silly me. I should have the ability to get that playing in just a moment. Oh yeah, they are good. Our spacey, spacious music. There we go. Hopefully that's not coming through too loud for you guys.
Nah, it's fine.
If at all. Okay. No. Perfect. Now, we are going to draw ourselves a line of their vector right now. Let me know if you see this, because if not, then I hex something up.
I see it.
Good. Okay. Now, it looked like the two dropships were coming in from slightly different angles originally, and they are just sort of steering to then get parallel to each other. Oops. That's not what I meant to do. I see how easy it is to just right-click and start, I guess making a polygon is what that causes. And so the second dropship has a vector like this. Allow me to show that to the stream. So yeah, they were originally coming from slightly wider apart, but it looks like they're aiming to get somewhat parallel to each other, closer and closer, until they run up against the sides of the jump ship. So yes, based on your estimation of their continued path, and assuming that they don't make any changes, you can decide what angle you want to shoot forward at, based on what you know.
Okay.
And along with that, you'll also be choosing your velocity, because we are going to use a fly-by-night version of the space rules for a lot of this. I am pulling out my notes on the subject right now. Okay. Let me just make sure I got this all right. At the start of the outer perimeter encounter, Joey must choose a starting hex, his angle, and his velocity. Yep. And so, you know, based on, you know, the space rules for aerospace fighters, your velocity is how much you'll automatically be forced to move every turn before being able to, then spend thrust to turn. I'm sure. Honestly, you know it better than me, Kain. I've just been
trying to find my. I know that my thrust profile is 711.
Sounds about right. So you can say you have spent time building up any amount of thrust, though. Honestly, like to get to whatever total you'd like it to, or excuse me, velocity, whatever total velocity you want it to be.
Do I have any idea what the velocity is of these enemy dropships?
Ooh, that is a great question. I thought I had that written down somewhere. Let me double check myself. If not, I'm going to come up with a number real quick. I wish I knew how velocity translated to G's of acceleration in this case. Because they would be...
Velocity doesn't translate to G's of acceleration.
Well, I mean, they're different. Yeah, exactly. Acceleration causes velocity. I just mean like... whatever velocity comes from staying at their high G acceleration. I believe they're at 2.5 Gs. Is what I had said during the briefing.
Their velocity is probably very fucking fast.
Yeah, exactly. They are going pretty fast. I would probably say, just for the mechanics of this, even if it doesn't work out to be the same, if it doesn't work out to be mathematically perfect, then whatever. But seeing the number of these hexes that there are, I will say a velocity of 20. Even though it would probably be a lot higher, let's say mechanically, for this fight, it's 20.
Okay.
And also, just to be fair, yeah, when this encounter officially starts, they are at the far end of that line, and you're at yours. And we'll see how these interact. We'll of course try to move quickly enough to just keep going along the line and just see when y'all actually notice each other. But basically, we are entering a bit of a stealth mission here. I'll read out a little bit of information about what the enemy dropships are capable of seeing. Now, one thing that was picked up by the Kahlo is that the dropships also don't seem to be in perfect condition. Various pings of radar and such give off that their forms are not perfect. They seem to be a bit ripped up, like they're not giving off perfect lines and such. So they do seem a bit damaged already. Hopefully that plays into your favor on this. But allow me to read you what we know about its detection capabilities. The Kestrel, I believe that's the name of your aerospace fighter, right?
Yep.
The Kestrel is auto-detected if crossing within...
Name I have given it.
Hell yeah, it's a nice one. If crossing within 44 hexes, also known as 800 kilometers, that's the scale we're working with out here, folks. Each of these hexes is 18 kilometers. But yeah, if crossing within 44 hexes of a pirate leopard's hex, if its fusion engine is fully active, if your fusion engine is on standby, you're detected automatically within 22 hexes. Now, this automatic detection is just for automatic detection. They will also be making sensor rolls. Active sensors and radio transmissions also give off an instantly detectable signal outward to 22 hexes. And radio transmissions in particular are traceable outward to 10 million kilometers with scaling time delays. If the Kestrel chooses to start the encounter with its fusion core completely powered down, it will be auto-detected optically and thermally within 11 hexes. Starting the reactor from a cold state means the Kestrel must plan for a safe start of 10 turns of being detectable, as if already having an active engine, while being unable to change course from chosen line or fire. Or they could do a combat start of 1 turn of being detectable as if already having active engine, while being able to change course, unable to change course or fire weapons. But if you do the combat start, you'll have to roll 1d6, and a result of 1 will cause an engine hit. So up to you on how you want to plan your startup and turnaround, and how long you want to be giving off a signal and when.
Okay.
I know that was a mouthful. I'm about to paste it all into the in-game chat of MapTool. Oh, okay. Very nice. Skills. I said a lot of things.
Because of the way these lines don't line up with hexes, are we just using hexes for distance measurement? We're not using them to make like jagged movements across to stay in hexes?
Yes, we'll just assume, we'll just see what the line hits the hex the most of when you draw it across, and just kind of go from there. I don't know if there might be a way to use a template to draw a hex-based line. Actually, 1 second. That could be a thing. Let's see. The template tools, the third tool at the top of MapTool. Oh, would you look at that? You actually can draw a line template. It is, if you use the circle-shaped button, that's the third of those buttons, and then go to the line button after that, which is 5 inward. The line template should allow you to draw it so that it sticks to the hexes as you draw it out.
Template tool, draw a line, centered on a grid scale.
And I guess you'll have to be zoomed out a good ways for it to be one contiguous line, but also I need to mute my mic 1 second.
The distances look to be, it's measured in 18s.
What'd you say, bro?
Alright, can't pull up a calculator.
Nice.
I was just doing the math on approximately how fast they've been going, and basically for every hour of burn at 2.5 Gs, you're looking at 88,200 meters per second.
Yeah. You see, if we were to have to make a map that compensated for that,
I mean, on the flip to that, if they want to engage in combat, they're going to have to, at the midway point, flip over and do a reverse burn and be still at 2.5 Gs to decelerate.
Yep.
Damn.
That is correct.
So times 18,
yeah, that's true. There will be a deceleration phase at some point during their flight. Or at least it's assumed that there will be if they're not here to just instantly murder the jump ship. Otherwise, yeah, they could just stay at speed and do a strafing run. But it is indeed Captain Lopez's hope that they're here for something more important than just destruction.
See, how fast do I want to go? Because I can do... Because I'm starting pretty far away from their path. I don't know if that put it on the screen at all.
Oh, did you draw it?
I think I did.
Oh boy, I do not see it. Let me see if I see it as a GM.
Do you see it now?
Yes.
Okay. For people at home, this is a gigantic...
Yeah, this map is huge.
That's if I'm moving at 55 hexes.
Just a solid 55 hexes. That's its tiny line here compared to the map.
I mean, I can decelerate super fast, but...
Yeah,
Actually,
that thrust profile does allow you to...
I do have the structure points for it.
Do you have this at mech scale, or do you have this at space scale?
This one is in space scale. The second battle, the second phase of this overall battle will be at mech scale. It'll be what would be considered a real knife fight for aerospace fighters in space. They would question why you'd ever be this close to each other.
Alright, how do I... Now I want to get rid of this. Gotta figure out how to get rid of this.
So it looks like, yeah, the Leopard is traveling at a A smooth 360 kilometers a second is what that, or excuse me, a minute. Yeah, a minute. 360 kilometers a minute. That is pretty. That's easy to imagine happening. Yeah.
All right, because I want to catch up to them, and I want to make sure I'm in line with their path before they get anywhere close to passing me. I'm gonna start at 110.
Ooh, very nice, very nice. Okay. We will lock you in at 110. And you can. A lot of this, yeah, we're theory crafting above the board, so we don't literally have to just like move you forward by that number each, like in turns. I think that would take a bit too long and be a bit silly. So basically, I just need to know when you start decelerating and doing your startup.
I am going to elect to try to do a combat startup. I'm already picking a fight with a dropship, so that is the least of my risks at any given time at this point. So
Oh, you said you're doing a combat start?
I'm going to end up doing a combat start, but
Okay.
what I want to try to do is I want to try to get in line, especially given the number of hexes. I'll be well outside of detection range if I get in their path. And then change direction, get some momentum, and then do a full power down and do a combat start after running the clock to try to power back up behind them.
Alrighty. Sounds- Yeah, here's open, bro. Also, I just had to put you out loud because I realized this whole time Alpha could not hear anybody, and I feel like an idiot.
I was putting it together.
You know, it's but we're, like I said, we're doing it live. Hopefully, it doesn't echo back to you guys, and if it does, I'll just mute my mic. You know, during. But anyway.
Template line that I just dropped there.
Good idea. Oh, nice. Thank you for drawing that out. Damn. Yeah, I mean, honestly, both the aerospace fighter and the dropship are just specks on this map. For example, let me zoom in on the dropship. Even this one does not fill a full hex. Because, you know, well, it shouldn't fill a full hex because a hex in space is, as I said, 18 kilometers across. So it's way smaller than that even if we were going visually accurate. Oh yeah, I just realized this, the pirate leopard display that is above the top right corner of the map is the information that you would shortly gain about the leopard after you start up anyway. So just so you know that is there, Kain. That's just the current readouts that you get from it about its integrity.
Oh, and I suppose before launching, I would have just so that the captain keeps the option. If the captain wants to try to talk to these leopards to figure out anything, I guess, that results in not wanting me to try to nuke one of the engines, to just...
That's true.
If they come to a point where...
Right. Okay. That is a good idea. Upon hearing that, yeah, Captain Lopez would have included that in her plans. The bridge will still try to make the occasional hails just because that's protocol as they approach, but it is pretty clear so far that these dropships are on some kind of, you know, dark mission, or at least that's the way they're behaving so far. That's a good idea.
If we so
Good point. Sorry, I was doing a couple GM things there, but yes, in that case, yeah, I guess It's just up to seeing what line you want to draw, and then we will just rapidly, think back and forth about like how many turns that you want to spend drifting, and then where you want to turn on. Because yeah, if you're going 110, I mean, honestly, it would be great if there were a way to pick up and rotate this line and just keep laying it over itself. Not sure the line tool is quite that capable in Map Tool, sadly. I believe it can be picked up. Let me see. Go back over to GM mode and see if my GM self can interact with that thing. I go to template tools. Does not look like it. It looks like it's only just for drawing. How strange. There may be a way. There might be a keyboard shortcut that I just don't know. I will look into that at a later time. For now, I would say it's just a matter of drawing a really long line, and then we'll use that nice little guide that you made in order to figure how many turns worth that really is.
Yeah, we'll just leave that guy there as a really.
Yeah.
So I guess
based on using the ruler tool, we can know already that it's going to be about 1,500 kilometers. Depending on where you draw it, it could be like
180 kilometers.
Yeah, I was going to say, depending on where you draw it, it's like over 1,000 though, probably, right? So
Yeah.
we'll just figure how many 110s go into that, or how many 110 hex times. Oh my god. Yeah.
So my first is just gonna be following the ruler.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So I'm just gonna.
I'm not an expert mathematician.
At 2,000.
Yeah. I'm guessing. Yeah, you're. So are you saying you have been drifting through space backwards this whole time?
I mean, I figure I was.
Because if your engine is off, I mean.
This direction, and then going this direction, I'll spend some of my thrust to spin myself backwards and keep going. So now I'm going backwards and going.
I was gonna say, depending on here, let me make sure about those. How much of a signal your stuff gives off. Oh yeah, I guess you would have been able to very recently make that turnaround because the auto detection happens within 800 kilometers. I believe it is 1,600 kilometers is where they can make detection rolls. So maybe it would have happened just before you entered the map, so that it's not, we don't have to worry about that yet.
And it's 44 hexes at full power for auto detect for making rolls outside of that.
Yes. Yeah, if you're at full power, it's 44 hexes. Standby is 22, which means you can, instantly that turn without a one-turn delay do anything you want. Or, if you're off, you can do the combat start or the safe start. But being off definitely, like I said, that brings it down to 11 hexes, and that's only if they just see you visually or thermally. I am. Wait, what? I'm struggling to see it. Are you saying this guideline is what you wanted to move?
Dragon myself.
Yeah, using this line tool or this template tool is new for both of us.
Yeah. Alright, I have moved my saber.
Well, I was just gonna have you draw a line for what you want your entire course to be.
Oh, I see.
Because if you're off and drifting, you won't be able to control your direction at each turn anyway. If that is indeed the decision of deactivating the fusion core until you can do the combat start, well, already turned around. Good choice there.
Their speed, and there are so many hexes to count out.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If you just draw the whole line, we'll figure out.
That's a lot of counting.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll just divide it up and figure out which turn that ends up on just by visually comparing your guideline with the length of the line and where it ends up. Cause yeah, you're right. I think that it would be too tedious, even for me. Even for me, loving the crunch, that would be too tedious.
That
Well,
I'm gonna
you'll be moving 110 hexes per turn, and it's moving 20 hexes per turn. And the turn is some made-up nebulous amount of... Well, it's 1 minute in space. Space turns are 1 minute long.
All right, I understand. Okay, let me make sure I grab the right line here.
Yeah, I don't want to... I'm not trying to steer your decisions or anything, but I wanted to make sure you understood that it's moving probably a lot slower than you. I know what you mean. Yeah, trust me. It took me a lot of rereading the same exact space sections in Total Warfare just to wrap my head around it. Ooh, sneaky.
Alright, and because, so I was thinking in ground terms that I had to move across the bottom of the map and then go up in order to be able to do this. Speed will...
Oh yeah, until we really start, yeah, to adjust your velocity as needed, for sure. It'll just be locked in and be drifting that way once we start.
Yeah, okay. I'll be going a lot slower, and I'll be going backwards. I'll be going...
Interesting move. So you're basically, you're coasting to get behind both of them in a sense, or like you could choose either one of them. Very interesting.
I'm going to be coasting.
Oh yeah, that's a good bit slower. Okay, so you're locking in your
My goal
direction.
is to pass in front of it somewhere. I want to cross the line. I want to cross its path while it's somewhere like here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the main thing, is that we don't have to sit here and do a bunch of, like, I don't know, trigonometry. And calculus.
Accelerate out of that and not have to cancel so much momentum.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a very good idea, because yeah, it's true. You would have to spend turns canceling your momentum. that case, the only thing that we really need to know is as you cross over that line, we will make a detection check. First of all, probably when you get about... Here, let me draw another line. Let's say... Probably when you get about... So yeah, I mean, we just have to visualize this in our minds of their speed versus yours, but I would say when you get about here is when they can... When you get about there, that's when they can first make detection checks.
Okay.
And I feel like there's a small chance... Well, let me think. On this scale, moving 20 speed is not that much farther than moving 11 speed when you repeat it, but like at some point it'll... I'm just trying to figure this all in my head. We'll go with what works well. Yeah, I feel like there's a chance of auto detection, but we'll just say that you aimed it so that there wouldn't be an auto detection. But they are about to make a sensor check to see if they catch you coming in from the front of them. I don't think that they would be able to react in time too easily, given that they're going at 20 speed, which means that they'll move 20 hexes before they can then spend their very limited thrust to make turns and such. That is the thing about dropships, is they maneuver very slowly. Slow to make turns and such. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and make a sensors roll as the crew of that leopard. It's also, I'm going to be doing that live with the good old slash roll, just like you did. D6. Let's say... You remain undetected for, let us say, oh yeah, that's not a very high roll. You remain undetected for, I will say, 5 turns from that line I drew, which, going 11, I guess that brings us back to the number 55.
I mean, for me, iteratives of 11 works best because that's my maximum thrust.
Oh yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, yeah. Well,
I was doing it.
I can use that template tool to see how many hexes that is. 55, please. It's hard to focus in on the one hex that line would be on, but let's see. Oh, jeez. I need to get my phone calculator out. Just say what?
What's the distance given?
I guess it'll need to be 990. I just did the math on my phone. It's 55 times 18 kilometers. There it is. So basically, you're getting past the point that y'all would be crossing now. Or not a crossing, but you're crossing ahead of it at this point. And they are going to make one more sensor roll, and then we're going to just, from that point, assume that you skirt by their active detections, and then we will decide how long along this line you'd like to go before doing that combat start. And also, this template tool needs to go away now. Okay, there we go. Now, one more roll from the crew of the leopard. Oops, if I can type today. Oh my god, they are really... I don't know what they're up to. They're just not at their stations. They do not see the silhouette of this aerospace fighter crossing in their path. So yeah, you got quite lucky. Basically, I was gonna make it harder. I was gonna make it harder to pass as you got closer, but they rolled like ass. So that helps a lot.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So this, it's working out pretty well so far. It's a bit of a scary situation, but you're making the most of it, it would seem. And and your timing is turning out to be great. So we're just going to treat that as, I'd say another 110 hexes worth of movement. Because apparently they're just so damn inattentive. They're really not paying attention to that kind of data right now anyway. So that'll get you, let's just be general again, to where you're about this point on the line. And given that you are now, let me see, you're now certainly behind them by that point, or at least to the side, off to the side and a little behind would be my estimation. Would now be the time you do your combat start. Here, let me move the leopard token to represent as well. That tiny token over there.
Have I made it outside of 44?
I know. That's why I included the kilometers in the description, because that's what this, that's what map tool will give you when you go to measure things. Let's see, when you get there, yeah, I would say it would probably be about here.
Yeah, because if that was another 55 past that, then yeah. So I should be outside of 44 hexes.
Yeah, almost certainly.
Right, then I suppose I will roll for my combat start.
Sounds good, man. Good luck.
No.
Hey, look at that. No ouchies to the engine. That's great.
Hooray.
Awesome, right? So yeah, we have ourselves a so far quite successful stealth insertion into behind the enemy lines of the leopards. Let's see. If you would like to move your token to the orange line I drew, I think at this point you'll just have to decide which of the two leopards you want to hit. I will say above board that it is mostly an aesthetic decision. But because you do read that they both of them do have you're close enough, and as you're starting things up, you will definitely detect fusion signatures on board each of them. It's a little, you can't get it super defined that easily, but you can tell there's other smaller fusion signatures behind the main fusion signature of the leopards themselves.
All right. I
So
guess
they're both packing.
For now, I want to cancel my reverse movement.
Right. So start spending thrust once you start up.
Yep. Since I'm floating this way at a speed of 11, I'm gonna use my max thrust to cancel my movement.
Sounds good. So you put everything you can right after getting started up. Yeah, it's like starting a car while revving. It's like you're giving it its all, and it's handling it pretty well. So you start thrusting maximum immediately as you start the engine up quickly, and
I guess I'm watching my sensors to see if they detect me or not.
yes,
Those G-forces.
you are still outside of. The G-force of that change would probably not be fun.
I do have the trait G-tolerance.
Oh yeah, that's right. Lucky you.
I can not have to deal with that.
Yeah, honestly, I'd say with a whiplash like that, normally I'd make someone even possibly make consciousness checks, But
the trait itself specifically states that I ignore situational modifiers, high G or low G.
Lucky you, man. Okay. Well, knowing that, I think at this point we will start the approach. The other pirate leopard is off map, but if that's the one you want to go for, that's fine too. It just so happens that this one's yeah, exactly. It's the one that is easier to catch up based on your current speed and location. So, yeah. In that case, we will. I'm gonna move this a little more into the theater of the mind, even more into the theater of the mind, by saying that you can catch up to it at whatever pace you'd like, but basically, it's just gonna end up with you locked on behind them in some kind of way. And
Here's my plan.
yeah. So in fact, I'm probably just gonna. I'm about to move the both of you into space, and we'll just put one behind the other.
So what I would like to do, I want to stay outside of the 44 hexes there for the initial maneuvers, just to have a chance that they don't detect me.
Absolutely.
I want to line up so I can match their direction. And then I want to hard accelerate so that I want to be moving faster than them, which shouldn't be hard. If they're moving 20, then that's 2 rounds of thrust for me.
Oh yeah.
But I want to be going faster, and then I want to let go of my HE bombs while I'm matching their course at a higher speed, and then just slowly pull away from that. Just try to...
Damn. Nice. Okay. That is a very good plan. I think the only thing we really need to check for then is, as you're starting out farther away, there is definitely still a chance of them not detecting you. So we're going to give one final sensors check, because if they pass it early, I would say that they get one turn of firing their laser bay at you. They have an aft laser bay, as most original model Leopards do. We're gonna fudge those numbers a little bit too, because I think an entire laser bay might just melt you. Well, it's not capital scale, I don't think.
Because I know I can't fight it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm probably dead. But the bombs will still be jettisoned.
yeah. Even if the it's kind of morbid, but there's a chance they just keep flying forward in that direction, even if there's no you to do the releasing of them.
I mean, Joey's okay with this. This is
it's fighting for your life.
It's fighting for his wife's life.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, in that case, let's make that final detection roll. Yeah, I wanted to make macros for this, and Haimont knows this. What I spent yesterday doing instead, very irresponsibly. Spent 11 fucking hours playing a Rubit game. Let's see.
Hey, it's pretty good. I don't blame you.
Yeah, I've been playing a very cracky game. I was sponsored to it first, but they got me. Now I sponsored them back a little bit. Anyway, let's make that sensor check. Pop. None of these rolls are that great, I will say. They're honestly not expecting anything behind them, so they're not attenuating their sensors for behind. Obviously, sensors are in a 360-degree direction, more or less, but they're not paying any special attention to that, so I would say that you still make it past.
They're not looking for those beeps, sweeps, or creeps. Exactly,
they're not getting any of those. They're not focused on the sweeps and the creeps right now, no. So, it all looks the same to them at this point. You can slip into your optimal range without them first having noticed.
Alright, so the goal is to let these bombs go, and then slow down. I don't want to close.
Yeah.
I don't want to get...
It would be a lot of very desperate crit seeking, which is why I set up I just realized I was looking at the wrong window. So indeed, if you could use your small lasers on it, and hopefully after the bombs hit, you could do crit seeking, but hopefully the bombs are here to do what you want to do. I had set up the Leopard's armor and structural integrity and stuff in the case that you wanted to be more surgical. But honestly, we're gonna say these bombs are likely to do what you want them to do. I mean, just from the crit chance alone from getting hit in the aft section, you know, the bonus from that, plus the fact that
5 times.
do bombs do all their damage in one location, or is it in 5s? I forget.
It's just 10 damage.
10 damage to one spot? Yeah, the fact that it's in one spot.
10 damage to one section.
Yeah, that right there, the penetrative factor is what causes crits too. All right.
Stuffing 5 bombs into its tailplane.
Exactly. Well, in that case, all we're gonna have to do is just. I would want to say we need to do a roll for the accuracy of this, like, almost like it's like you're using a sling. You know, you're like peeling the bombs off of yourself at a certain velocity, and then, you know,
I figured since I'm trying to.
Yes, exactly. And it's not that you can't perfectly line yourself up with the way that it's going. Like, I'm pretty sure just general piloting experience could do that. But yeah, I think it is just a bit of a piloting check to make sure that as you separate from the bombs, you don't bump them, you don't change their trajectory at all. Yep, that sounds perfect. So it'll be 2d6 plus reflex plus piloting. God damn! You have no problem perfectly lining yourself up, even compensating for the idea that of where they're mounted on your wings, the fact that they're underneath on the pylons and such. You can even compensate for that bit of distance difference. And with the way you have it set up, they should sail in a perfect arc of like a V formation of 5 little destroyers going right across their 2 aft. Well, actually, no, that's right. We've, as we've covered, they use their giant 1 thrust engine on the underside of the Leopard for forward movement in space. So it's even easier to, hit something important because it's just one big cone, you know?
Right. It's time to.
Yeah, exactly.
So I need to commit myself to this fight as well.
We're gonna make this part cinematic. I would say that as you let go of the bombs and start peeling away, you of course I'm sure are paying apt attention to the results of this action. You said you wanted to slow down as you're peeling off the course as well. Gotcha.
So that I don't cross into the 44, but I don't. Be able to see what happens in it.
Yeah.
I don't want.
Oh yeah. No, I'm sure that's not preferable. So, what we are indeed gonna do is, at this point, I will just describe what happens. The bombs sail forward through space beautifully, and the fact that they're traveling at a much good bit higher speed, and their course does indeed remain unchanged. Usually that is the standard fare in space is, you have your vector set up way ahead of time, and it looks like they're at least sticking to that bit of convention as they unknowingly suddenly take a gigantic rippling explosion across the main engine cone that makes up the underside of the Leopard. More importantly, a lot of the supporting cones that are both on the underside and kind of at angles all across, the attitude thrusters start to tear off, start to distort and bend in directions that will make them of no use. And After a series of rippling explosions across the cone of the main engine thruster, you see the emission from the engine begin to sputter and die as the Leopard, seemingly with all its other facilities still intact, drifts forward in its current direction somewhat helplessly. Definitely unable to turn after what you've done to most of its attitude thrusters.
Well, that's what I was hoping to do. He's now course and speed locked
Yeah,
to just sail.
exactly. So, damn, job well done. I think, yeah, making rolls with a laser bay against you would have been really bad. Because I think even when you take it down to mech scale, like, it's something like 3 or 4 large lasers, which it's a lot for your aerospace fighter to try and take.
It would be a horrific amount of damage.
Yeah.
That's why I really...
Hey, you nailed it, dude. And so we conclude the intro mission. A job well done, my man.
Is,
Perfect. Now the other dropship will indeed receive open, or not open communications. Excuse me. I mean to say, it does receive a small burst of digital static that you recognize to be an encrypted burst transmission, or not even burst, but a quickly just encrypted radio transmission. It's across radio still, but it is, just digital static to you.
okay. I want to follow the other one.
Perfect. All right, that makes perfect sense. Now, it seems that the other dropship is not changing course when hearing this news relayed, though it does seem to speed up a little.
No problem.
Yep. So that is how we end there, and at this point we will switch over to the nearby MCS Kahlo map, where we see the Kahlo itself is represented, being in the bottom left corner of the play area. You are in what they would call absolute, inadvisably danger close distance to each other, really. The scale that things operate at in space mean that being this close is only a matter of either direct contact or desperation. Which for you isn't in fact a matter of desperation. For them, it does seem to have something to do with wanting to get to the jump ship. And, they could have been lighting it up with lasers and LRMs by now, the way that they travel in space. You've noticed that they just approach, at speed, but otherwise are not doing anything outwardly hostile. It's just that they are at what anyone would call ramming speed, which itself is a bit disturbing. And the ignored hails as well are a bit disturbing. Now, here is the part where we will have our players set up their mechs in the formation on top of the Leopard that they want. Dr. Acharya has successfully led the small technician crew in injecting the dense foam that is, being prototyped by her in order to prevent the usual ruptures that would happen from a breached bit of armor in space. Oh yeah, Emmanuel talked him into it, right? Yeah, no. I'll be honest with you, Kane. It was it was me just as a GM forgetting that breaches don't occur on aerospace fighters. I was thinking of conventional fighters. But it still makes sense that she would at least want to try and see what it does, and you would be like, hell no experiments. What was that last thing you said, dude? I'm sorry, King. Oh yeah. Sorry, I'm coordinating with Alfred to see where he would like the trebuchet to stand, as well as I see we have the Talos up front. Now, because this is at mech scale, we'll of course be using the ranges of your weapons, but expanded. Especially in the case of missile weapons, things just travel farther and with nearly no resistance in the dead of space, as long as there's no debris to worry about. Now it's fluffed that lasers don't travel forever in space because they eventually run into, micro dust, just micro debris like dust and, all sorts of things that like nebulous clouds and stuff that eventually just degrade the signal. So what we're going to do is say that laser ranges are doubled for their effective use. They do keep traveling, but for their ability to aim within the 10-second window that a turn is and all the things like that, we're going to say their ranges are doubled. Missile ranges are tripled. I'd treat that as a laser and double it as well. Hell yeah. So now, there was one other thing that was being discussed that Alpha had mentioned earlier, and that is he might, depending on the range, he might place this. He might go against the conventional wisdom of what was discussed during the briefing. He might, in fact, stand on the jump ship, knowing that the missiles can fly so far now.
As a way
So
to
I guess
fire.
Yeah, as a way to divert fire, exactly.
I think the since damage to the jump ship would be so much worse than damage to the drop ship.
That's true.
I'm also using your. Are you using your capable ammo? Because if that's the case, it might be better to keep on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm unsure if the incoming ships are going to, take our diversion and just attack the drop ship, or if they're just gunning straight for the jump ship regardless of what we're doing.
I imagine they would be more interested in capturing it. The more damage they do to it, the less likely it is they'll be able to use it, and it is a very rare resource to get your hands on a jump ship.
How likely is it they try to get close and perform some sort of disabling tactic, though, or just, try to move towards that first?
Maybe something like trying to dock and force entry.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm worried about, is that they're trying to capture what's-her-name. And that they're just gonna...
The scientist? Dr. Charlie?
Yeah, the scientist or somebody, the one that invented the foam. Because if they're going straight for that, and if our mission to disable the other one... How did that mission go? Missed that part.
It actually went perfectly.
Oh, excellent.
Like, the highest, almost the highest piloting roll you could get at the moment he needed it. Yeah, it went great.
Oh, yeah. So
One dropship is completely disabled and drifting forward at an angle because their original vectors were sent to go along the outsides of the dropship and then curve in, or outsides of the jump ship and then curve inward at the last moment. Their original vector has them shooting past the jump ship, still possibly able to take one strafing fire as they drift past, but that is all they can do.
Okay. Well, then it's probably more likely the one that is on course will take on the dropship to get rid of the threat.
Either way, that.
They're also if they can get on board the jump ship first, we then have to raid our own jump ship.
Yeah.
And then
Having to raid your own jump ship afterwards would suck, that's
and
true.
if they can get their mechs on board, then we have a whole different problem. So my thought was having a mech already good to go in case that is their tactic on the dropship or on the jump ship would be good as like a first wave of defense before they could get there, before we could get back to it.
Well, I've asked my thought-provoking questions. I'm not there to participate in an in-character decision.
True.
Well, considering my guy was also pretty unconvinced to participating in the first place, I think that he will hang back and be on the jump ship.
Be his usual obstinate self, huh?
Yes.
I see. Okay, in that case, we have basically a turret now on the side of the jump ship. As noted by Dr. Acharya...
Another question I have, though, is how quickly, if I were just in the mech bay, could I get onto the outside of the jump ship?
Oh, you will definitely have to be dropped off and placed there and just kind of locked in place.
Okay, then can I be...
I mean, you can walk with the
what
mechanic
side of
boots
the
a little
ship
bit.
is the docking station on?
What side of the ship?
Or is the
Well,
docking bay on?
basically, where you will be standing would be about somewhere in the middle, right here. It's the most reinforced part, housing the engine. It's the only part that can really handle a mech standing on it with no problem. Yeah.
Okay.
That is where you would be standing there. The dropships are actually not that far away from there. They're docked just a little bit more towards the tail end.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. I should know. Let's look at the schematic, shall we? Yeah, exactly.
I just want to know if there's a place I can stand that would, lower my lower my visibility until they were right on.
Yeah, you'd be standing, if we look at the main map, you'd be standing on this thick part that says electrical and power.
Oh, so I would be
standing
kind of
outside of there.
until they were to the sides.
Yeah, depending on the angle they come from, these the rotating arms of the jump ship do actually help a bit with that. Then
Okay.
that's part of the grav deck assembly.
Let me see their incoming vector real quick, and I'll just that will determine which side I stand on, so that I can.
Yeah, let's see that. Well, if we look at the way they were coming when drawn on the big map, it's these two lines right here.
Okay.
And the jump ship. Oh, I made the token so tiny I can't find it among the stars. Oh my god. That's bad.
Somewhere
It's just gone.
in the void.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the fucking void. There is a jump ship. Oh, I know what it is. I didn't have it visible to players because wasn't sure if it was gonna be part of the visualization or not. Wait.
What?
No, never mind. It's just gone. Yeah, I must have literally deleted it. Whoopsies.
Are you looking for the jump ship?
From the approach vector map. Yeah. I know it's there on the big
it's
map.
not on the approach vector map.
Yeah, that's weird. It's real weird, guys. Okay, so
Looks
I'll
like
just
the one that
basically the jump ship was going to be. I'll draw a line instead, or a little square. The jump ship was going to be.
So I'm
right
assuming the one we disabled
here.
is no longer accelerating; it's just locked at its previous speed. But they were
Yes.
accelerating, weren't they?
Yes. Well, I made it so they were locked at a
It sounded
current
like
speed.
they were gonna fly to the sides and then pincer the jump ship.
Exactly.
Like
Here,
that
let
I
me
just
draw
wasn't
for
sure
you.
if they were still accelerating at the time, or if
You just
one of them is now
sail
coming
past.
faster because it's remained
Yeah,
itself.
so they wanted to attack by sailing in and then kind of curving around and pincering it. Oh, that drew a shape that I didn't want to draw, but
Well, then I will stand.
they wanted to. That literally looks like crab pincers, just trying to fucking grab.
Scissors.
Yeah. So they were gonna try to crab pincer it just like that, and but instead now this original yellow line at the top here is what the dropship is just gonna keep drifting off on. So he might be able to get one round of missiles fired at the jump ship, but that's it. Otherwise, they won't really be able to fire on it. Thus, potentially saving thine asses. Now, back to the main map.
With that
So
middle portion of the ship being round, is there a way I can stand to have half cover from one side or the other?
I would say as you get towards the grav deck right here, yes.
I mean, like from the sides even. So like considering it's round.
Just kind of use like the horizon of the shape
use
to
the
go-
horizon
Exactly.
of the ship and like the fact that I'm magnetized to like lean forward to have like a narrow view, you know.
Yeah,
of the
let's
incoming-
draw the line of where your dude is, the section your dude is standing on. You're walking along here,
Hey.
and if you go towards the far right end of that line,
No, I mean
would say
on the other axis.
yeah, no, you can walk all the way along this.
Yeah, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
fine.
Can I create?
Oh, I see that horizon, the actual
horizon.
horizon
Yes,
of the cylinder
of the
itself.
cylinder, yes.
Yeah, you could do that.
Okay, that's what.
In that case, yeah, that always guarantees half cover, so you could go horizontally wherever you want.
So I could have half cover in two directions if I stand the right way.
And by half cover, we're gonna say that's a +1 to be hit, as if it's partial cover.
Yes,
exactly.
partial cover, exactly. Then I will stand at the top X, up on the actual.
Yeah, this is horribly not to scale. If we do this,
Oh, I thought the top one was the jump ship. That's the drop ship up there.
yeah, this is drop ship for deciding like how you want to be shaped on there. Otherwise, yeah, you're standing on the side of the jump ship itself.
Okay, that works.
Which, yeah, we're abstracting where that is, but for the purposes of battle, we're gonna say
Considering
this.
one of those ships is going to
this
come
X.
whizzing by, I'm less inclined to block myself from one attack attempt than multiple.
I mean, that's fair. And it does only take a turn to walk down away from the horizon to block yourself completely, although protecting the jump ship is kind of the objective.
Yeah, that is. I'm happy with the partial cover and maybe just keeping my legs out of harm's way
Oh.
at the very least, because that's what's magnetizing me to the ship.
Yeah.
That's another thing. If our legs get destroyed, do we just go falling off into oblivion?
Not necessarily. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm so sorry. Hi, Mike.
If
I saw your message and then forgot to actually make the change, but you own your
If you
token
do
now.
detach from the ship, then I should be able to recover you in a non-combat situation.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
certainly can't fly around with you in combat, but I could go recover you afterwards.
Okay.
That and the leopard for that instance. Say what?
Are we able to see each other's rulers in map 4?
Great question. If you
I've
guys
got a ruler
can
that's currently
see,
stretching at the maximum range for LRMs from the jump ship.
I cannot see it unfortunately.
Okay.
Like I said, it's player side only. Yeah.
So if you're using a ruler, LRM max range is 63 hexes. Which in your case, Alpha, what you're looking for is 1890.
Okay, so that touches a good bit of the map.
Distance that'll show up on the ruler
Oh yeah.
because he checks 30.
Yeah. Just for a nice.
And for context, that is most of the way to the enemy.
Yeah.
They are almost
That does work
incompatible.
out nicely. Okay. Yeah, I did mean for this jump ship to be here at mech scale, so they are, like I said, in in space terms, ridiculously close already. But you had to let them somewhat close in order to see what their intentions are. Because they've not fired, you have learned something. So with that in mind, I believe we're about to get this party started. Now, well, this isn't right. I forgot to carry the actual enemy leopard over. 1 second. Oh, that's right. I was just gonna cut and paste the other one from the other map. Silly me. because I wasn't sure if it was going to be a two or one. We can all be glad that it was one. Where did I put those two? There they are. Yeah, the problem with these huge maps is like even finding where you left something. Okay, here we go. We're gonna take this, plop it down. Oh, wait a second. It is there, it's just covered up. It's not. Oh, I see what I did. Sorry, guys, one sec. It's like I have to relearn how to use Map Tool at this point because I don't spend enough time, consistently doing it. There it is. There's the bastard. Oops.
Another question. Considering there's parts of the jump ship that are unsafe to stand on because it could, I guess the weight could puncture the hole and create a vacuum breach.
Exactly.
If the other dropship gets close enough, what kind of roll would I have to make to jump directly at it?
I'm gonna go ahead and
try to just crash their
That
hole.
would be really fucking hard.
I mean, if they got real close.
You'd be having to judge your
You got a jump jet?
You'd judge speed. Jump jets help, but
They have increasing thrust and acceleration because of
that's true. Yes, they do have increasing. You treat them like aerospace thrusters when you're in space.
Yes.
But I would say that because they're atmospheric thrusters, they do not have the delicate. They're not as delicate as if you had attitude thrusters pointing off of every direction from you. Instead, they're all just a backpack. It's a one shot. It's a one-time shot. You got your backpack, and you are rocketing towards it. So, not recommended, but it would be a difficult role that you could make, a piloting role.
This is that action movie moment where you jump out of one plane.
Yes.
And you don't use your parachute because you're diving to land on another plane and try to fight your way in.
Yeah, it's very Uncharted.
Oh yeah, Uncharted. Yeah. There.
So the mechs are not on.
The mechs are not supposed to be visible, but you can go ahead and see them. It's okay.
Okay.
I think, you know what, as it gets this close, the sensors are so powerful on the jump ship that you might start to be getting some data back about the magnetometric data on what's in there, to the point that you might indeed be able to make out some shapes and tell what they are. So, hand wavium activated. Let's just say that that's how you know what's in there. Anyway, now that we know where everyone is situated, we can indeed get this battle started. As you can see, the macros are definitely not fully set up the way they need to be, but we might at least be able to get ourselves set to the same team, which can be used. It can be done with the set basics. Here, I'll just do it real quick. All of you guys should be Team 0, so we're gonna do that. Aha. There we go. And all of these other ones should already be set to the same team. But let me make sure real quick. Because we're going to try and use that initiative, the auto initiative roller that we had going in the prologue.
Oh yeah.
Would be ideal. Get auto initiated, why don't you? Okay. Yes.
I hope our ECM is going to help.
Yes, actually, and that is something that I was going to bring up to you as well. The ECM will play a role in this battle. You may choose to, at any point, project ghost targets around the leopard or in between the enemy leopard and the jump ship. Now,
Yeah, I'm going to do that.
I am now that is usually the ghost target's ability is limited to just like the area around you, meaning just you. But in this case, it will protect any fire coming at the mechs around you and the leopard that you're riding as well, which is known as the MCS Lamar, by the way. Okay.
I believe normally that's a piloting skill.
Yes, exactly. It is based off a piloting skill roll that you do, and then in response, they will also make a piloting skill roll. It's like an opposed roll that includes a couple environmental factors. Let's see, I do have ghost targets pulled up on my phone here. There we go. Now, basically, I've had to turn this into a bit more of a collaborative session, so you guys are coming out through my speakers as my main source of ability to hear you. Let me turn y'all up a little bit more. There we go. So yeah. It should be easy enough to measure ranges and stuff. You won't be able to use the templates, but if you use the ruler tool at the top, we can still figure out some things. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to hit the roll initiative button. And let me also check. Yes. Oh, one sec. Ownership. The way these macros work is that somebody has to own the token for it to work. I'm going to let Haimont borrow this trebuchet token in terms of just whatever users attached to it. Oh, how did this get reset?
And then for initiative bonus, that's based off of tactics, correct?
Correct. The tactics skill gets directly added to your initiative roll, if I recall correctly. Although that sounds really strong. Now that I think about it, but that's what we're going with for now. Might eventually be tactics divided by 2, to be honest. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Right now, absolutely, if you have tactics available, you can go ahead and only one person would add their tactics. You'd have to choose which person, and you would have to really explain why and how you're bringing your knowledge to the situation to give you that bonus. But otherwise, yeah, go for it.
Emmanuel, because I know we're not going to have time to actually get into a combat round just yet, but Emmanuel immediately starts calming Nergui and Vernon's necks as the uproar starts to take shape and come in. And this is like closed channel loop. None of this is going to the jump ship. And he just says, "Now listen. They're going to come in close, and specifically they're going to unload the mechs to try and take the jump ship. They don't want to fire on it because it's too valuable a prize."
Sorry about the feedback.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
To have a mech attached to the jump ship when the other two of us are obviously out here on the drop. There we're going to be careful to not get ripped apart by missiles at long range.
Going to stay as hidden as possible.
So I am about to have to put this back through headphones because I just realized the mixer does not pick up when you guys are talking, but it still punishes you guys in Discord with an echo even when I try to feed it through. So sorry that that's been echoing for you guys probably the whole time. I just realized I had to feed it back into OBS somewhere, you know. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna remute this and we're gonna go back into headphone mode. And I'll relay any needed information to Alpha, because as I've said many times, we are flying by the seat of our pants tonight. It is about session wrap time, but I would say that final speech, that very informative briefing from Emmanuel does indeed get everyone nice and in the zone and ready to be reactive to this, what is going to be an absolute breakneck dogfight in our next episode of Sins Unearthed. So yeah, you'll totally be getting that initiative bonus. Nicely done.
So, how much XP do we get for taking out a dropship?
How much XP does Kain get for taking out a dropship?
I mean, I don't know if you've seen the advanced MechWarrior Destiny rules about experience sharing, but this is our experience, comrade. It's gonna get divided up. I'm doing the old Final Fantasy style divide total experience type thing.
We get XP for letting Kain go on his solo mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
You get
what
XP
Kain
for
gets?
trusting him.
A character who ends up with a great fucking story.
Yeah. That is huge. You did just do something nearly impossible.
The back end of that fucking drop, like the back end of that dropship shredded as it goes zooming past.
Yeah, that's true. You would indeed see the profile of an absolutely torn up, with the back end looking like a halfway husked piece of corn, just fucking flying by helplessly.
A blown out barrel on the back.
Joey's just like, after this whole thing, you should have been there, you should have seen it, to his wife. He's just like going nuts.
Maybe just scanning like the fucking the space behind that dropship, being like, did he make it? Where's the thrust train?
Yeah, I think you would get just a quick, at least a quick little note from one of the bridge crew that they are still picking up an active fusion signature of the Kestrel, of Joey's Saber aerospace fighter, headed back in.
We're all hunkering
Just over
down
here.
for combat. And the last fucking thing we see on camera is just a slight flicker of blue in the far distance.
Exactly. He's coming back.
Scream over the comms. Yeah!
Bonus time
Perfection.
tonight.
So we are gonna have ourselves a good old leopard surfing, possibly jump jetting time next time.
Yeah.
Very.
If I
Don't let
jumped
me
this
give me
was the first
ideas.
Fight, maybe I would have picked a mech with jump jets.
Yeah, it's true. I am.
Your boy is turreting hard. I'm hunkering down and holding on for dear life, baby.
Mhm.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, I should have
Whoever's
also
driving
mentioned.
This leopard doesn't suck.
Yeah, exactly. You will be able to order the leopard around in terms of where he turns, at least with some conferring with the captain, because he does only answer to the captain. But in combat, in the heat of combat, he might just listen to enough yelling from one of you.
I bet about the time I put
With a
the
laser
Talos
pointed
barrel
at the
against and tell him to fucking turn where I tell him.
Oh my
I
god.
said tank!
I am
Oh
not going
Jesus.
to ask you again.
Exactly. So yeah, with that in mind, that's where we'll pick up next time. I'll finish making some mechanics. Hopefully, I'll have a macro set up for that ghost targets as well, so we can automate the back and forth that happens with ghost targets, the counter, the opposed piloting rolls. that is the hope.
If all else fails, if you just have a piloting check macro, then it's fine, because the ghost target difficulty is +1 for every 2 he gets over his piloting check DC. And then that penalty is applied to the piloting check that they have to pass in order to be able to shoot without penalty.
Yeah, that's right. So it would not be too hard to compare numbers either. But I'll hopefully get a more cleaned up version of that ready for us to use next time on Sins Unearthed. So thank you guys. I appreciate your patience with me as first I was picking up Alpha from the airport, and second was chasing down a loose dog in the neighborhood. My brother's dog got out, so an even later start than the late start that I compensated for. Thank y'all for coming. It did work out pretty well. I would say Joey's rolls worked out the best of all.
Oh yeah.
18 on that piloting check to sail those bombs right up his ass.
Yeah, it's perfect.
You know, skill issue. Clearly Kain is just better at playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell that.
We all need to step it up. Kain is officially the best gamer.
It's hardcore gamer. Damn, dude. Well, yeah, that's a great visual to lead off on. I'm sorry, you were gonna ask something, Kate?
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask if the Union received XP for the dropship mission.
If the what?
The Union. If
The
the Union
Union.
players received XP.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess it is the Union, huh? Yes, that will factor into the XP given out at the end of this fight for sure.
Okay.
I'm just trying to decide how many assault mechs it equals. That's what I need to figure out. Let's see how overpowered I'm making you.
That dropship that we would have had to fight.
Jeez.
There's a
That is true. There-
Half of
thing,
that
right?
rounded up.
Is there a medal for taking out a dropship? Because that'd be great.
Took out an entire century.
Somehow I doubt it.
One attack.
Yeah. Yeah, you literally did keep 5 mechs from joining the battle.
I mean, you're almost as good as Tin Cat with his nukes.
Damn, good point.
Hey, I told you guys that as the pilot, it was my job to make your fight easier. So
Mission accomplished, dude. Passed with flying colors. So that's a great first test of skill for our players. We will get an introduction of the characters, in this trial by fire. And this was a great one. So, yeah, like I said, thank y'all for coming. I am probably, I'm about to wrap stream. Might be about to play some actual physical BattleTech with Alpha as well. We'll see. That's something I haven't done in ages.
Oh shit.
I know. But yeah, guys, thank y'all for coming. We will, play it by ear for next session, and I'll probably do a lot more advertising for that session if we get it nailed down. This one, was already touch and go, so we'll have it more nailed down next time.
You guys have fun.
Yeah.
Will do. Thank you, guys. Catch y'all later.